Calculator, we're back. We're back, calculator. All right, we are live, calculator. Can you hear me?
We are live, Mr. 411.
Yes, we are. All right, we are live. All right, well, I'm 411. Welcome back to the 411 Sports World Fantasy Football Show. This is our week two edition of the 2024 season. And obviously, you can see right there next to me is none other than the calculator.
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411, everybody. Hey, it's meat and potato times. You know, we gave you a little appetizer with the quarterbacks last week. Now we're getting into the main course of what you need to be successful with your fantasy football draft. That I'm sure a lot of you that are tuning in, it's right around the corner. It's coming up every week to week. It gets get quicker. Hey, Mr. 411, next time we talk, I'll actually be participating in 2 slow drafts at the time. But the thing is, I can do a slow draft and still do the podcast, which is kind of nice. You can't do a podcast when you can if you're streaming it like we did last year. But for the most part, if we're like an analysis type podcast, you definitely want to concentrate on that rather than an actual draft. But I'm sure Mr. 411 is going to post a draft here too, and when something's on the line.
Oh yeah, you know we will. And then
Yeah.
also, and obviously, with the 411 Sports World League, even though we
Yeah.
have some new members this year, some new fantasy owners, so it's going to be exciting. And we'll do that draft the way we do it.
Oh
So
yeah.
everybody needs to stay tuned for that on 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. All right, calculator, running backs, as you said, meat and potato position. Man, there's some strategy behind it, and we're going to
Yeah.
get to that
Yep.
after we do news and notes. So everybody hang in there, stay tuned. Let's get this party started.
Absolutely. And we're back, Mr. 411. I'm excited. I'm sorry. I just had to say something. I'm so excited about with the running back episode. It just gets me fired up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, calculator. Today is June the 12th, 2024. Man, let's jump into this thing because there's some questions that I would love to get the answer to, and I know other people will as well. So before we dive into the running back category today, what's going on in the world of the NFL, man?
Well, unfortunately, when we go news and notes, a lot of times we disappoint with injuries, and it's already starting up. Week 1 of the preseason's in the book, and so I'm just going to point out, just some high level stuff. For example, Chiefs wide receiver Marquise Brown suffered a clavicular joint dislocation in his short shoulder. Hey, I'm not a medical MD guy, but if you want a comparison, this is the same type of injury Tyreek suffered in 2019. Bottom line, how much time did Tyreek suffer or miss when he had that injury? Tyreek Hill missed 4 games in the regular season due to that injury. Luckily, if it's a 4-week timeline, he should be good to go by week 1 of the season. He's just they're just probably going to take it easy on Marquise Brown. One of the guys that's rising up draft boards until last night or this past weekend on Sunday, Malik Neighbors suffered an apparent left ankle injury in a training camp session, and the team believe it's a minor ankle sprain. But Neighbors is expected to undergo further testing, so keep an eye on that. I'm thinking since he's their prized rookie, they'll probably take it easy on him and start wearing the non-contact jersey. The thing is, being a rookie, you kind of want him to get the reps if you're going to invest a top 4-round pick. He's actually sliding down my board, but we'll go more over that. Probably he'll name pop up when we talk about wide receivers next week. Jacksonville's preseason opener found Christian Kirk excluded from 2 wide receiver sets. The Jaguars opened Saturday's game against the Chiefs with Gabe Davis and hotshot rookie Brian Thomas Jr. as the wide receivers in the 12 personnel. 12 personnel. We'll talk about that a lot when we talk about the tight end episode. 12 personnel. If we mention that means there's 2 tight ends on the field and 2 wide receivers. Kirk did enter in 3 wide receiver sets. Ultimately, played 7 snaps. Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis both played 9. Trevor Lawrence played 9 snaps as well. But Thomas and Davis ran 5 routes to Kirk's 4. Bottom line is, don't pay much attention to it. Christian Kirk is going to be a starting wide receiver in there. Yeah, I don't think it's really. I think when they go to, I don't see the Jaguars running a lot of 12 personnel personally. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's still early preseason. We'll get more into that. Might be able to talk more about that in the wide receiver session as well. My man, Brock Bowers, is he going to get some snaps? Hey, the Raiders starters played 14 snaps in Saturday's preseason opener against the Vikings, and both tight ends, Michael Mayer and Bowers, played 12 of 14 snaps. Both ran 6 routes, drew 2 targets, according to Pro Football Focus. Brock Bowers, on his 11 snaps, ran 5 routes, drew 2 targets, and the Raiders moved him around. PFF counted 6 snaps in a traditional tight end position, 2 out wide receiver, 1 in the slot, 2 in the backfield. That aligns in how the Raiders coaches have discussed using Brock Bowers. So bottom line in this, to sum it up, Bowers will be playing outside more than Mayer. So even though they're 2 tight ends, and I'm thinking they're going to run probably more 12 personnel, which is 2 tight end sets most of the year. I think most of the routes coming from the tight end part of that formation that's going to run the route is going to be Brock Bowers. So, yeah, I think Brock Bowers is going to get plenty of snaps and run plenty of routes. Jahan Dotson, disappointment for a lot of people last year, but, hey, they're looking at possibly moving him to a slot receiver. At least it looked that way in their game against the Jets this weekend. He opened in the slot with Terry McLaurin, and Dami Brown as outside wide receivers. According to Pro Football Focus, Dotson matched McLaurin's and quarterback Jalen Daniels 11 team snaps, while Brown just did 4. Dotson went on to play some with the second unit as well, though after McLaurin and Daniels left, Dotson also remained in the slot with Olamide Zacharias, replacing Brown for some of the 3 wide receiver sets for the first team. That's especially noteworthy because Zacchaeus played 61 and 68% of his snaps in the slot this year. But that was in Atlanta and then in Philadelphia after that. That was Zacchaeus's previous destinations. But bottom line, I want to see Dotson in the slot personally. If people remember him, he's really quick off the line. He was amazing at Penn State when he did that. I think he really was misused last year, and I think that's going to be corrected this year. Tight end, Cole Kmet split time with Gerald Everett. Yes, Gerald Everett, who spent most of his time in the Chargers, has moved on to the Bears. Kmet, he caught 1 or 2 targets from Caleb Williams against the Bills this preseason game. But the big story was his usage. Him and Everett split time, with both running a route on 5 of Williams' 8 dropbacks. That's a 62.5% rate. But Everett actually outsnapped Kmet 14-11. This is definitely to keep an eye on. We will definitely probably cover this in Kmet because early on in a lot of my best ball drafts, Mr. 4-1, Kmet was one of those wide receivers that he's a boomer bust guy, so he's definitely better in best ball. But now he might have to go to a third option if he's still available later in the draft. So that's definitely we'll keep track of that, and I'm sure we'll touch on it in our tight end episode. And last, Jordan Whittingham, a 2024 factor. That's a question mark. People might be saying, "Who's Jordan Whittington?" Folks, if people were saying the same thing about Puka Nacua last year, Rams head coach Sean McVay loved what he saw from his wide receiver Jordan Whittingham in Sunday's preseason opener versus the Cowboys. Whittington, I said Whittingham, but it's Whittington, caught 6 of 9 targets, 74 yards. Sean McVay said after the game, he's going to be a factor for us. So, hey, if people listen to our episode last week, Puka Nacua did suffer a slight injury in a training camp. He's been held out. So, hey, Sean McVay is more than happy to start rookies, and if they produce, he keeps playing them. So that's definitely something I want to keep. Hey, next man up is what Sean McVay says, and that's what's happening at this point. So, but yeah, that's our news and notes. Sean, hey, he could be the new Puka Nacua. You never know in the Rams. But hey, definitely keeping an eye on Mr. Whittington this preseason.
All right. Hey man, that's exciting news though. In Los Angeles because I mean, something going on over there in that system, and with Sean McVay, that players develop their fantasy, especially if we talking fantasy.
Oh yeah, hey,
certain players develop there, man.
if you had part of the Rams offense, not last year, but the year, exclude the year before last where everybody got hurt. You got to take that out of the equation. But last year, if you had a Puka Nacua, you were doing good. If you had a Kyron Williams in the head Rams offense, you were doing good. Backtrack to 3 years ago. If you had Cooper Kupp, you were winning championships when he set records, wide receiver, not rookie, wide receiver records as a wide receiver. Him and they hyper target head receivers, and they'll keep going and basically until they get hurt a lot of times. So yeah, but yeah, and Puka Nacua last year, he nobody knew who he was. Later in the draft, later in the year though, a lot of people started popping on one of those Mr. Irrelevant picks, a last pick of drafts, and he took people to titles a lot of times, setting a rookie record for receiving yards. You're on mute, Mr. 411. There we go.
Okay, calculator. All right. Yeah, I was on mute, man. In other words, go Rams. Go Rams when it comes to fantasy. All right.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Yeah, you mentioned that the Rams had Kurt or Williams at running back, and that leads us into the topic, man. So running backs and strategy. Let's get into that part of this right now, calculator. What are some good running back strategies?
There are three different strategies when you want to attack the running back position. You can go with the old tried and true. What's an old tried and true? Back in the day, people, a lot of times they use the first three picks. They built stud running. They built a running back stable. They did the horse. They did as Mr. 401 used to always coin, the wishbone. They like to run with. That's right. They ran the wishbone. They like to get the stud. Okay. It has evolved. And why has it evolved? Well, running back by committee, lower usage of running backs due to receiver. It's a passing, league right now. People like pass. So we, as football has evolved, so has the fantasy mindset. So a lot of people don't do that. Try and true. A lot of times, if you go the old wishbone stable running back system, you're actually going against what everybody else is doing. So that could be good because you're being unique, could be bad. Now, yours truly, I'm a hero running back situation. And you could say, what's a hero? Hero is, hey, I draft one running back, and I load up on my other positions, and then I just, because running back turnover is constant. That's why we always talk about the waiver wire being so big in fantasy football success, is because you can get that next running back. But Tyson Chandler at the end of last year was everybody's darling because somebody got hurt. Kyron Williams, he was waiver wire material at the beginning of the year. Nobody was drafting. So I like to get that. Hey, I like to get that one hero running back, that guy that he's a main running back, and then load up on other positions, and then I'll worry about running back later in the draft. But one that has been taking everything by storm. We talked about hero running back. Zero running back. Now that is in vogue. Dr. Sachs, he was one of the first in our league that loved to deploy the zero running back. You might say, how can I win with zero running back? Zero running backs not mean you don't have a zero, running backs. It just means you're going to load up on every other position, and you're going to draft like 5 running backs near the end of the draft. You might end up with James Conner as your running back 1. You might end up with a Najee Harris as a running back 2. But see, yeah, exactly. Those are your running backs. But hey, it could be beneficial because you might end up with a Tyler Algier as a number 4 running back that you're drafting later on in the draft when everybody's having to catch up a receiver. You might get a Tyler Algier. You say, Tyler Algier, he's not a starter. Yeah, but he's what they call a lottery ticket. Ask people that drafted Larry Johnson before Larry Johnson was Larry Johnson, if you know what I mean. Drafted him at the end of the round, and then he got the head of that Chiefs running back rushing for 1,600 yards after after he got inserted in the third game. I'm telling you, that can work. You just need things to kind of work right to be the zero. Again, my preference strategy is hero running. But you can say, calculator, what strategy should I get? I even though I have a preference strategy with hero running back strategy, Mr. 4-1, also you got to look at your draft position, because put it this way, we're going to talk about this in our top 10. There is 3 top tier running backs that that if you get a top, you're going to have to be in the top 5 to get one of these 3 running backs. Okay,
Right.
so that you get one of those. Okay, well, say if you're in the bottom, well then I'm still going to employ the hero running back strategy, because there's still going to be other guys that should be able to get a lot of points and anchor your running back position. But some people that are drafting at the end of the year, they might not feel comfortable with a Jonathan Taylor or a Saquon Barkley or so forth. They might just want to get those 2 stud receivers, or the stud tight end, stud receiver. Either way they want to fix. They could do that and then go zero strategy. But I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to get a running back in one of the first. Now, I'll say that the middle round is where I might drift, where I might go hero running back and choose that stud wide receiver if those first 3 running backs go. And we'll look at this in the mock draft, Mr. 401. When we go, and I'll talk through it on the strategy we're going with this mock draft. We'll do later on in the broadcast. So then I might just get that stud receiver and then hope that hero running back comes around. But again, you don't want to wait too long for running back unless you want to embrace the zero running back strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I haven't tried the zero strategy, but I remember the wishbone. And
Oh yeah.
you're right. It's make or break sometimes. It can be good, but it also can hinder you. So it's one of those risk reward situations. But yeah, those are the various
Yep.
strategies, man. A calculator. How would that? And just a bonus question here. So how does it? One of these strategies? How do these strategies work? Does it when you're playing in a auction draft, like versus just the
Oh,
normal snake draft? How does that come to play there?
that and again with your strategy, if you're employing the hero running back strategy, you're gonna you're gonna bundle like if you're an even auctioneer and you like to even out, you don't play the stars and scrubs, you even out, you're still gonna have to bundle your bucks for that one running back, right? And then let all these other mid tier running backs, like say, and I'll tell you my strategy right now. And the people that listen to the show probably going to be in my league. Me and them are going to be in bids with one of the top 3 running backs, and we'll go that
Hmm.
later on. We talk about 3 because that's going to be my hero running back. Now, if somebody does get the stones and outbids me, hey, I'm not going to overpay just because I want one of those 3, but I'm going to make them pay. But then I am going to probably take a tier 2 running back. But that if you're going to hero running back strategy, you're going to bundle your bucks for that one running back and then spread everything else over those second tier running backs. See what I'm saying? Now you go
Yeah.
zero running back auction, you're just going to spend most of your money on receivers, running backs, tight end, and then you're going to spend the $1 and $2 and up to $5 when a lot of people are then out of money after those second tier running backs, the Algiers, those second tier running backs that could turn into lottery, but you have a lot of them. So yeah, you don't need everything to go right. You just need one of the 5 to go right. You know what I'm saying, Mr. 401? Now,
Yes,
if you're
sir.
doing the wishbone, you're going to spend all your money on those 3 running backs, and then you're going to bargain hunt in the quarter. You're not going to get your Josh Allen's or your Patrick Mahomes quarterbacks. You're not going to get
Hmm.
your Travis Kelce, Laporta tight ends. You're going to spend all your money on those running backs. You're going to spend your second amount. I'm suggesting spend the second amount of money on your wide receivers, and then play the tight end quarterback streaming type game. But yeah, that's how you do in the auction style. Is if you're a hero, spend big on that one running back, and then spend the rest on your receivers, and then spend what you got left over on zero on the backup running backs. But then you'll be bidding against the people that have employed the zero running back strategy. So be careful with that as well. So, but yeah, if you go zero running back, you'll just get when people are pretty much out of money, and then you have the $2 or $3 to start snapping up those guys that are off the radar and hope that they hit.
Yeah. Man, look at that. Very strategy. But look, calculator. And listen to the calculator. He's in, like he stated, he's in leagues with people that are listening to this show. He's in a league with somebody who's on the show with him right now, but he's still willing to share the information. And at the end of the day, you still gotta outwit the calculator no matter what. So for somebody to be this given, to be able to
Yeah,
help you, you gotta know this guy loves fantasy
I
football.
love it. I
So
love it.
I know a lot of people try to hoard information, but not the calculator, and that's a great thing here. So remember that when you listen to the calculator, he's giving you information that he would even use himself. So definitely appreciate the calculator for that. Let's jump into the top 10. my man. So let's get the producers
Absolutely.
on there.
Yeah,
They're in my
get
ear
the.
right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know if I in the pre-production show I wanted to throw the producers the thing that for the top 10 of me and Mr. 411, and we're
Hmm.
gonna have our little debate like we did last episode with the quarterbacks, and it was like I said that was kind of like a, uh, a appetizer to get ready for these for this main course. So, but I think people are going to be surprised when the producers are able to get that out there.
Yeah.
Me and Mister For One, like I said, we got the top three out there. The three that we're all going to and that me and Mister For One will debate is going to be the top three is Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and Brees Hall. Those are there we go. Those are the top three guys in everybody's ranking. Now, Mister 4-1, it's funny because Mister 4-1, you're a Falcon. I mean, I know you're a Seahawks fan too, but you got to be. I'm assuming being in the Atlanta area, you're a Falcons fan too. But yeah, you got Bijan Robinson at the bottom of your top three. Hey, folks, I'm going all be. Hey, people know I loved Bijan last year, right? But I'm going all Bijan this year too. Yes, I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. You can say now, and I'll explain my rationale of why I have Bijan Robinson number one ahead of Christian McCaffrey. You can't go with Christian McCaffrey. He's a great system, but I'm telling you, the touches are going to add up. The last time Christian McCaffrey led the league in touches, that was the next year. He was in Carolina. The next year he got hurt. So Josh Jacobs 2 years ago led the league in touches, got hurt last year. I remember that year Le'Veon Bell led the league in touches when he was like, guess what? He held out the next year. So there's not a good track record for people that lead touches and them escaping the injury bug the next year. Folks, I don't like the touches. Now, hey, if Christian McCaffrey falls to me in the fifth round or in the fifth pick, of course I'm going to take him. I'm not going to stay away from him because I think he's going to get injured because he's a value at that pick. But I'm telling you right now, folks, if I have the number one pick, I'm not picking Christian McCaffrey. I'm picking Bijan Robinson. If I got number two pick, I'm not picking Christian McCaffrey. I'm going with one of those top receivers that we will talk about next week. The only way I'm taking Christian McCaffrey this year is going to be as my number two running back at the fifth pick or later, just because when you look at the metrics, you're looking at his age, you're looking at the usage. There's just I don't want Christian McCaffrey on my team unless I find him as a value. And I'm telling you, I had trouble ranking him ahead of Brees Hall because I love Brees Hall this year. And as you see, but I'll tell you, Mr. 4-1, why do you like Brees Hall ahead of Bijan Robinson? We'll just take those two in a vacuum. Why do you like what puts Brees Hall ahead of Bijan Robinson in your eyes?
Oh, well, thanks. Well, for me, the reason why I have Brees Hall number two, I just really believe, especially what happened last year with Aaron Rodgers, with the injury and being out. I think the Jets they're gonna make sure that they run that offense through Hall. And you mentioned his name earlier, Algier from the Falcons. Algier's going to get some touches. He's going to get some play too. So for me, it was like, okay, I like both of them. But if I'm going to pick one, let me pick the one that doesn't have Algier on the team. So that's why I went that route.
Okay. And one of the reasons I have Bijan ahead of Brees as well in my rankings specifically is also offensive line. Yes, I understand the Jets upgraded their offensive line, folks. You don't have to come at me and say the Jets offensive line has been, I understand that. But in three of the four publications I use for offensive line rate, one of them, my favorite, is Pro Football Focus. They have the Atlanta projected offensive line as a top four overall line, top three run blocking line. So I really like those guys. They're the maulers. I don't think they're going to want they're going to have, yes, Algier is a concern. And you could say, yeah, Christian McCaffrey, Brees Hall could be number one for the mere fact that you can name the backup running back for the 49ers and Elijah Mitchell. You can name the backup running back in Atlanta with Tyler Algier. I don't know who the backup running back is in the Jets. That could kind of tell you that Brees Hall is probably going to get all the work, right? So yes, I see the argument, but personally, I'm just going to go. I just think Bijan. And Bijan, much like Brees Hall, Brees Hall can catch the ball, but I think Bijan can show. I think he can do it. And me being a Saints fan, I still saw that 70-yard screen pass he took to that. Bijan took to the house against the 49ers. So that could be a built-in bias for me as Mr. 411. But I'll tell you right now, and I'll prove it on our thing. You see my list. Those are where my allocated dollars are going to be for those top three. And there was another one. We're very close on Jonathan Taylor, but one thing, the one thing that we're different on is Saquon Barkley. I see you have him as your top 5, and well, first of all, I'll throw it to you, and then I'll throw it to why he's not in my top 5. So why is Barkley number 5? I mean, ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs, ahead of Isaiah Pacheco, ahead of Kyron Williams. What are you enamored with Saquon Barkley?
Well, you remember Charles Barkley. There was a Barkley, famous Barkley that was traded back in the day from Philadelphia to Phoenix. And that Charles Barkley ended up being the league MVP and went to the NBA Finals and took the greatest basketball player of all time, that many people say, right? Michael Jordan. Yeah. Took him all the way up to a game 6, right? Could have easily been a game 7. Actually took 2 games in Chicago back when it was a 2 home games, 3 road games, 2 home game format. And Phoenix went to Chicago and took 2 games, right, with Charles Barkley. And I just feel like, okay, Philadelphia, this time instead of a player leaving Philly, there's a player coming in. And Saquon Barkley, at once upon a time, we probably would have been having him in the top 3 debate if he was healthy, so on and so forth, receiving, rushing. And I just believe that with Barkley, between him and the way he can squat 5,000 pounds and the way that Jalen Hurts can squat 5,000 pounds, I just think that using him in that Philadelphia offense, Barkley is going to be reinvigorated, just like how Charles Barkley had that extra boost of energy when he went to Phoenix, when he was like, "Oh my God, look at this team I'm playing with now. Look at the co-stars I have now." And so Saquon has to look at this and say, "Man, Philadelphia, I have receivers in AJ. I have AJ Brown. I have
Devontae Smith,
Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, and
Goddard,
and so on and so forth, and Goddard." You know what I mean? So like, he's got to be able to shine. He has to be able to shine. So that's why I just have him right there after the Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be devil's advocate for you, Mr. Foreman, because I got it. We have to have. That's why we do this podcast, is to give people good and bad, right? My concerns with Saquon Barkley is, one, you just said it. When he was with the Giants, he was the Giants. They didn't have guys to take away from him getting touchdowns. Well, they got A.J. Brown to get touchdowns. They got, and the thing that's going to hurt him, in my opinion, the most is Mr. Tush push into the end zone, Jalen Hurts. We talked about Jalen Hurts on our quarterback. That's the one thing that worries me. Now, do I think the tush push? I don't think it's going to be as prevalent because Jason Kelce, their all-world center, I think he was attributable to that being so successful. And I do think they could say, why worry about getting Jalen Hurts hurt if we have somebody like Saquon? So that is an option. I don't want to take a chance if I'm spending a top 2 pick on Saquon Barkley. So that's why. But see, that's why a lot of people say, hey, I even have Derrick Henry ahead of Saquon Barkley, and you have Derrick Henry all the way down your list. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to throw that to you in a little bit, but I love Derrick Henry ahead of Saquon Barkley for the mere fact is I saw what Gus Edwards did in that Baltimore defense. Now you have a guy that's Derrick Henry that is 5 times as good as Gus Edwards. Just give him the Gus Edwards touchdowns, and then you give him all those other rushing touchdowns on top of that. And you know what? I think, folks, the guy's sneaky good on screen passes, and Monken, the offensive coordinator, he likes those little short passes. Just ask all those running back from Georgia when their 2 title runs how good they like those dump off passes. And I'm telling you, Lamar's going to utilize Derrick Henry, and even though you could say that the offensive line might have taken the hit for Derrick Henry for Baltimore. It don't matter. They turn offensive linemen all that. They had third stringers on there 2 years ago, and they still had the Gus Bus running for 5 yards without getting sacked because they have to pay attention to Lamar Jackson. They have to pay attention to all these other weapons. So I really like Derrick Henry this year. There's a lot of things going with him as far as they said there's low tread on the tires, but he's going to a situation, and we saw what he did with a below average offensive line and a below average slow playing offense in Tennessee, and now he's going to an up tempo, spread them out, still can run downhill offense in Baltimore. Folks, Derrick Henry's going to be a beast this year, and that's why I like Derrick Henry all the way ahead. And I think, and folks, he might be on a lot of, because I like him so much, he could be a lot on calculators, a lot of calculator teams this year, because I do have him rated kind of high. But another thing, another guy I have do you have what are your concerns? Because another guy we have that I want to touch on is Jahmyr Gibbs. I have him as number 4. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I love his pass catching. I love what he did even when David Montgomery was healthy last year. You want to talk about top 4 offensive line? They're out of 3 to 4 publications. Detroit is the number 1 pass and run offensive line this year. So I love the offensive line. I love the high, and I love the play.
Okay. Are we frozen?
For one, what about
Oh,
since you have Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit further in your list? What are your
yeah.
concerns about Jahmyr Gibbs?
Well, it's more. I'm gonna say this. It's not necessarily concern because I feel good if any of those, go from Gibbs all the way up to 1.
Okay.
I'll be happy to have any of these backs on my team.
Okay.
What Gibbs is, I just have the recent memory of having him last season and the explosion, the games that he had that was just so fantastic. And then the next thing I know, here comes Montgomery taking the game from me, taking the game from me. There was a couple games in there where Montgomery just bent me, man, and like
Yeah.
it's just sticking with me. So I'm gonna ask you, calculator, should I be concerned about that? Should I be concerned about the 1 or 2
Abs-
games that may happen with Gibbs?
I am not concerned 1 or 2 games at all. Just hope it's not in the playoffs, right? Yes, it could
Hmm.
happen, but what Jahmyr Gibbs showed, first of all, they showed what he could do when he was a workhorse bat. When David Montgomery got hurt, Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal. So a lot of people
Yeah,
said when they were going to say, "Oh, are they going to hold back his touches when David Montgomery comes in?" They didn't. David Montgomery basically was getting a lot of the mop up duty type deal, and Jahmyr Gibbs was still scoring. He still getting his almost 15 to 20 touches a game. And if you're in a top scoring offense like that, and now you have Laporta and you have Amon St. Brown taking away, spreading the field, giving you room to run. Oh, and again, Mr. 4-1, I'll repeat it again. The number 1 offensive line, and one of the boys that they judge it, and they go too deep in 3 of their 4 offensive line areas. So yes, you might even have injuries, but they still have good depth on that offensive line. So that's what Jahmyr Gibbs. That's why I have him. I have him close. Now, granted, I'm not going to have them as the number in the top 3. The 3 are the 3 of themselves, but I have no problems pushing the money up on Jahmyr Gibbs when the auction time comes around, and I have no problem using my first pick on Jahmyr Gibbs. And you want to know how I put my money where my mouth is, folks? I just traded a second round keeper league pick for Jahmyr Gibbs to be my keeper. In this type of gift, you can only keep Jahmyr Gibbs for 1 year, and another guy already had a keeper better than him. But hey, I didn't care. I said I knew I wasn't going to get Jahmyr Gibbs with my first round pick, so I said, "I'll give you this round, second round," and now Jahmyr Gibbs is my workhorse in my 5-person keeper league. That's how much I like Jahmyr Gibbs.
yeah. I mean, I just wish you. I wish it was just his job to have,
Yeah,
and just for selfish reasons. And man, 945 yards and 10 touchdowns as a rookie. That's impressive. And again, he even has some good receiving moments too. So yeah, I mean, if you end up with Gibbs on your team, you're gonna have that's an RB1 for me.
Yeah, and if you look at our list, Mister For One, our top tens are there's pretty much the same. There's nobody that enters. I mean, we got all the way, they're just in different orders, and that's
Yeah.
basically our preference. But yeah, if you look at this top 10, folks, this is pretty much your top 10 for all running backs. You get one of these guys, you can employ the hero running back strategy. If you go zero, you're going to end up with the James Connors, the Gus Edwards that I talked
The
about with the
Najee
Chargers.
Harris that you mentioned
Najee
earlier.
Harris, Jalen Warren, yeah, a lot of these running back by committees, those are your zero running backs. So that's why after this 10, it gets hard. So if you want a hero running back, I would get one of these guys and ride with them. The guy that almost made our list, I'm sure almost made yours, Mr. Form, was Rashad White. He's another guy that I would feel comfortable with if he was my hero, a running back. He just didn't tickle my fancy to get ahead of what we do. And I see you have Isaiah Pacheco ahead of somebody like Derrick Henry. Just before we
Yeah.
go into the mock draft, talk a little bit about Isaiah Pacheco and the pros and cons of what you like about Isaiah Pacheco.
Well, the pros I like is that he's in that system in Kansas
Yes,
City, and
yes.
that the creativity from Andy Reid, where Pacheco can be, he can be anywhere on the field. There could be any kind of play for him, and he started to me he started percolating last season,
Mm-hmm.
and I really believe that that's their running back now. That's the back that they're going to go with. Of course, we had the other guy. I can't remember his name right now. What was CHE or CEH? Remember him?
CEH, he's
So,
still there. He's still Clyde Edwards
yeah,
still there. But it's Jarrett
right.
McKinnon.
And he
They
was
did get. That's right. Jarrett McKinnon was given his walking
and
papers because
exactly.
Isaiah Pacheco did so good. Yes, yes.
Exactly. And
And
so
that's yeah.
and at that time, that's when Clyde Hilaire was supposed to be the guy. He was
Mm-hmm.
the first round pick and everything, but Pacheco's come in, and to me, he looks like he's taking over in that realm. I think that the Chiefs will, even though we know their passing game is going to be awesome. I think they're going to also play this a little smarter this season and run a little more. And so I feel
Oh, okay.
comfortable with Pacheco,
Well,
and I
see,
feel comfortable
yeah.
against him in that division too. I like that division.
Oh, Shootout City, yeah, and all those. But see, a point you just made is why I kind of pulled the reins back on Pacheco. I'm worried about their passing game being so good, taken away from because their passing game was so bad last year. They had to rely on Isaiah Pacheco. So that's the one thing that worries me is like, man, he might get those things, but then they're going to get. I think they're going to get a lot of more deep scores. They're going to get a lot of a lot of more efficiency out of those stud receivers they brought in. Even though Marquise Brown, got injured in season, but he'll
Yeah.
be back by the start of season. But I think Kelsey's going to vulture a lot of those what would be touchdowns last year because when they were in the red zone last year, you would see a lot of teams bracketing Travis Kelsey, and that's
Yep.
what opened things up for Pacheco. Well, now they're not going to be able to do that because they're going to have a Xavier Worthy. They're going to have when Marquise Brown, healthy McCall Hardman is back and he knows the system. They do a lot of those trick plays where they're going to trick it to Isaiah Pacheco and then do Hardman on a wraparound. So yeah, it's that's the one thing I like Isaiah Pacheco as the main guy. I just unfortunately, there's too many question marks and too many things that can take touches away from him that I don't like.
All right. Well, I like the 935 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
again,
that's
that was
good.
last season, and we'll see what happens the next season,
Oh,
this
yeah.
upcoming season. But as long as he's somewhere in that range, and if I don't get one of those top guys, I'll be happy with Pacheco and some
Yeah. Oh,
good wide
yeah.
receivers.
Yeah, if you go, he's going mid third round normally, so you can go and get your receiver. If you're an early like top 5 pick in the third round, you could go receiver and see if Pacheco falls you in the early part of the third round, and then you still can employ the hero strategy from a third round running back.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, calculate Travis Etienne Jr. Right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people was high on him and kind of wanted him to be that pick that sneaky pick when he came out. That hey, this could be one of those guys that you get that ends up being a first rounder as far as his production, but you got him later on. Do you think that he can have a super season this year?
Yes, I think he's set up for it. They got the receivers for it. They got everything in line for him to break out. They also the guy Tank Bigsby or whatever. He was a
Yeah.
lot of people thought he was going to come in and steal goal line carries, and all he did on his first carry from scrimmage is fumble the ball. So he got, and they kind of said, okay, we're going to go with Travis Etienne from here on out. So I think yes, it is possible Tank Bigsby could get more work as a second running back because they didn't invest in the run. But see, I don't think them investing in the running back helped out Etienne even more. And they show he's very good at pass catching. So I think he'll get more receptions than he did last year. And I think he showed. There was a stretch, I think 4 games in a row. You can correct me if I'm wrong, for one where he had double touchdowns 4 games in a row. He was in the end zone twice. For the reason I know that is I was playing against him in 2 of those weeks in 2 separate leagues. So that's why it's in there. So yeah. But yeah, I really like it, and that's why ATN I have him ahead of Kyron Williams. The only thing that worries about Kyron Williams behind ATN. I'm worried about Kyron Williams in his second year with, they invested a decent sized draft capital in Blake Corum that could steal away. So that's the thing, hesitation. I don't see anybody really threatening ETN.
Oh, absolutely. And good. You brought up Kyron Williams. And guess what? Chandler Constantino, we appreciate you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to our page, please.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you share it with everybody in your circle and beyond. But he has a hot take here, Calculator. I'll let you take a look at it.
Yeah, he's saying that they averaged 19.8 points per game, almost any other running back with in that category. And the Rams are projected to have a top 5 run blocking O-line. But again, I caution these people on Kyron Williams. I love the average. But you saw that he did miss some games. Well, folks, if he misses games and Blake Corum takes over, people, we do a CTL podcast that talks about college football, and Blake Corum was on Michigan, and we had Michigan as a lot of picks last year. We talked about Michigan quite often, even though we're in SEC country, because Blake Corum is the real deal, folks. And Sean McVay, we know he don't care if you have an injury. It's a next man up mentality, and that's the only thing that worries me about Kyron Williams. When he's healthy, he's a stud, no doubt about it. But if he gets injured and Blake Corum shows that he's capable, you could and I'll use a baseball term, he could be Wally pipped out of there if Blake Corum comes in and takes the job, because Sean McVay's known he's not a running back by committee guy. If there's a hot hand in there, he rides them till they break down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I like Kyron Williams, but if you've got Kyron, you got to go up and you got to draft ahead of ADP with Blake Corum to solidify that pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Chandler, we definitely appreciate your comments there.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate it. Keep them rolling. And make sure you hit that share. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like, all that good stuff. Especially share, because sharing is caring. All right, Calculator, does that wrap up our top 10?
It did. So now, Mr. 411, I'm putting the producers. You know what time it is now, don't you, Mr. 411? What everybody's favorite time is? It's mock show. It's mock show Monday, mock draft Monday. So
mock draft Monday.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And this I'm trying to see. If people could give me a minute,
Oh yeah, we can, because Calculator, we have to do a commercial break. So
okay, yeah, do a commercial break while I talk to the producers.
All right, we get to listen to Ernest Butts.
Hey, what's going on? Ernest Butts Jr., CEO and president of East Butts Jr. Boxing Promotion. Over here off of Mercer University Drive, 3555 Mercer University Drive. You want some real good personal training? Meet your goals? Come see me. I can put you to work. Get those goals. Like I said, I'm located over here off of Mercer University Drive, over here in the Mercer Crossing Shopping Center. I'm open every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The number over here is 478-254-5442. Or, if you're serious, you can reach me at my cell, 478-319-1502. Come be a part of a real boxing gym. Everything is real in here. Real trainer, real promoter. I promote pro shows in the city. But what I do best is personal training. I can get you in the best shape of your life. Give me a holler, man. Ladies, men, come holler at me. Self-defense, anti-bullying. I also work with kids, starting from the age of 4 years old. That's right, 4. 4 to 7, and 8 to 16. Come shop with me. Have a great day. Peace.
And that is Ernest.
Hey, always,
Junior.
good friend of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you check out Ernest Butts Junior Boxing Academy, 3555 Mercer University Drive, Suite 104-1, Macon, Georgia, 31204.
Absolutely.
He gave you his cell number if you're serious. So if you're serious, hit him up on his cell. All right, let's get the mock draft Monday calculator.
All right. So what we're going to be doing, folks, just a brief overview while the producers pull that up. There we go. As you can see, we're doing the same thing as we would. The only thing different from our listener league is I do not have the points per carry. Just for the mere fact is I am trying to encompass the majority of leagues, and the majority of leagues is 12 people, 1 point per reception. And with the one flex position and 8 bench spots, and we're going to be drafting from the 5 slot this year, or this draft, because I want to see if we're going to see if we can employ that hero running back strategy, because it's going to be a good one to see if one of those top 3 fall to us, Mr. 401, and if it doesn't, we can then change our strategy if needed.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
I like that.
We're going to be in the 5th spot. And me and yours truly, Mr. 411, we're going to trade picks off of each other. So Mr. 411, I'm going to give you the first pick. You know what strategy I like, but I'm going to kind of I want to see where you go and then see if I can, feed off of you just to, keep things interesting. So we're going to start the draft. So no pressure, Mr. 411.
You sure?
Yeah. So okay. So the first pick, hey, McCaffrey, 101. But look, 3 straight receivers. Now, Mr. 401, you don't have to go with my strategy, but we did say there is a clear top 3, right?
Well, we know that.
Yeah. So one of those running backs aren't coming back to us with our next pick. But if you want to stay, there's still some stud receivers out there. But yeah, I'm going to let you pick and see where you go with this.
I just can't believe Breece Hall's still sitting out there, man.
He's out there.
So let's do it. I know that there's Robinson's out there. I know he's out there. I know that. But let's just see what it looks like if one would draft Breece Hall.
Okay, and we'll see. Yeah, Breece Hall, like I said, Bijan went right behind him. Breece Hall and Bijan are going back to back, pretty much in there. And what's interesting is if you look at the draft ahead of us, that in the first pick, you see Garrett Wilson. Well, if you have Breece Hall, you're not going to get that runner, that wide receiver, right? And I really think wide receiver is the pick with this pick. And because you got Breece Hall, I am going to go back to the Falcons. And this is one incorporation you could do, right? Garrett Wilson's not coming back to you. So if you take and Drake London, who I really have kind of like even with Garrett Wilson in what I think projected for him, I don't want a wide receiver running back on the same team. So it's more often that Drake London will come back to you rather than Garrett Wilson. So it's like, okay, incorporate the strategy here, right? You took Breece Hall. Now I'm going to stay with the Falcons, and I'm going to get Drake London because we couldn't have done Bijan because I'm not going to do Drake London. Drake London wouldn't be my here if I had Bijan Robinson. I'd probably go, to tell people the truth, I'd probably go Chris Olave here. But I like Drake London ahead of Olave. I like it now. I like it even more because we don't have Bijan Robinson. So that's why it was a good pick for you, in my opinion, to take Breece Hall because now we can get Drake London.
All right.
And you're coming up.
Either.
So that's right.
I mean, you can't be mad if you have those two players on your team.
No. To start a drive, Drake London and Breece Hall. Oh, absolutely not. Top tier.
Right, who's on the board, Calculator?
Okay, so let's see who went off the board. Kelsey, the first tight end, went off the board. Mr. 411. So he's off the board. We had two quarterbacks went off the board. Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen went off the board. So Patrick Mahomes, he's still out there for quarterback. Running back, hey, your man Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, those guys are still out there. Wide receiver, Waddle, Evans, Miko Collins, Cooper Kupp, still lots of wide receivers out there. Where are you thinking about going? You still have a top tight end, you still have a top quarterback, but in my opinion, you still have lots of good running backs.
We end up with two. We just went through this show. Today's show is about running backs. And look, we're going to end up with a running back that rushed for 900 plus yards last season. And he's playing for the Chiefs. And I really feel like this. We'll be okay. We're able to handle the depth too at the running back position with this pick. It's not like we tried to hunt it down. It's here.
It's just there. Yeah.
I feel good with having two top 10 running backs on our team.
Yeah, and I agree. And I agree with you. The reason Pacheco fell to us is because those people pick quarterbacks, right? So we are, hey, even though I love Mahomes this year, when Pacheco's on the board with Mahomes, I do kind of like to get the running back because I do feel that we can get a good wide receiver later in this draft, Mr. 401. So I'm with you on this one. We're gonna get Isaiah Pacheco as our pick.
And don't you also feel good, even though you're giving up on a player that's great as Patrick Mahomes, that you could find another quarterback that can give you some comparable numbers? He obviously won't be Patrick Mahomes, but there's a quarterback out there that we can find.
Yeah, and if you look at it, we can, even though there's some, I mean, look at that big tier running back. There's a lot of running backs on that later tier, so that's why it was good because I'd rather have an Isaiah Pacheco as my second running back than because by the time we pick, we're getting Najee Harris and Jalen Warren territory. So we've locked up our running backs, so we don't have to worry about that, do we, Mr. 4-1? But hey, quarterbacks. I'm a big Anthony Richardson fan, but I still like some other quarterbacks later in the draft. So I want to stay with wide receivers. I love Cooper Kupp this year. With Puka hurt, I think they're going to lean on him. Cooper Kupp has done it before as an alpha. He's actually healthy this year. Yes, he's older, but I think it could be, not using as much wear and tear as he did last year because of the injury. Could have kind of saved him. Deebo Samuel. I love Cooper Kupp, our Deebo Samuel right here, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to go with Cooper Kupp because I want some of that Rams offense. So I'm going to get Cooper Kupp here, Mr. 4-1. So get ready because you're going to be up pretty soon.
Yeah, it comes around quick, man.
Yeah, it does. And see, I'm glad we took a wide receiver because if you saw wide receivers, there was a run of wide receivers that went right after us. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Zay Flowers, DK Metcalf. So that's why I went wide receiver, Mr. 4-1. You always want to be at a start of a run rather than end of a run. So that's why I felt we had to go wide receiver there. So now, Mr. 4-1, it's your pick. There's one more wide receiver, in my opinion, that's in a higher tier. We could go there. Or there's still, man, every quarterback came back to us. I think only one quarterback. Yeah, no quarterbacks were taken before we picked. So all the quarterbacks that were there before are still there. Still some good tight ends out there. But personally, we remembered last draft. That's why we do this mock draft. Tight ends fell in the last draft, so we might want to wait a little bit on tight end. But I'm gonna let you make the pick, Mr. 4-1, on who you want to go with.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Calculator. Just I had to just step back for a moment because we talked about this guy last week, okay? And this guy right here, I just said Patrick Mahomes puts up big numbers. But man, on our fantasy team, with this roster that we have at this point, I'm telling you, with our first 4 picks right now, all these players gonna give us anywhere between 18 to to 18 to 25
Yeah.
points. I feel good about it right now. I see that there's Cooper out there. I see Kurtz out there. I see Higgins, but I think we can find them later. I like Anthony Richardson. Okay,
Okay.
I like him, and
I got you.
I think he's gonna give us big numbers.
Okay. Well, I do disagree with you. I'm going to take Anthony Richardson because he was your pick, but I do disagree with you because I would have picked Amari Cooper here. But hey, if you look at the wide receivers, I like Pickens, I like T Higgins, I like Chris Godwin. So that one of those will fall back to us. So yeah, we'll go with Anthony Richardson here. Yeah, there goes Amari Cooper. There goes Pickens.
Yeah,
There
we
goes
knew they were
Kirk.
gonna go.
Yeah, yeah. So and right here, I think Chris Godwin will fall to us in the 7th round personally because the 7th round pick will get here quicker than I think. So I like all those guys. Running backs are starting to dry up. We got our quarterbacks, so we don't need to. I'm gonna have to go tight ends because I'm scared the tier drop off right here. Because if you look, there's a little neat thing here. There is only one person between us that needs a tight end. So I'm not going tight end, Mr. 4-1. And the reason I'm not going tight end is because I like Evan Ingram and Jake Ferguson. One of them will fall back to us. Now, since I got to make this pick, this is where if you're a partner with somebody, got to, Mr. 4-1, if Jake Ferguson or Evan Ingram falls back to us, will you make them your pick with your next pick? If I go,
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that because look, at the same time, we're on the same roster here. This is our team, right?
Okay.
And so we're going to work together on this.
Excellent. That's why I wanted to clear that with you first. So with that, because I got that clarification, I'm going to go T Higgins. He was drafted in the 3rd round a lot of drafts last year, was he not, Mr. 4-1? Had a couple of injuries, but he's back. Jake Burrow's healthy. Now T Higgins, he's our 3rd wide receiver, not a starter, wide receiver too. So I'm going to go with T Higgins with this pick.
Absolutely. Burrows is going to have a monster season this year. I think he's going to bounce back this year. Let's put it that way.
Oh, look at that. Evan Ingram and Jake Ferguson both fell to us. So you have your pick of Ferguson R. And we're going to check the board. See, all these people, there's 3 teams after us that need a tight end. So we got to get a tight end, Mr. 4-1, because both of those guys will most likely be gone by the time we pick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's go with Ingram.
All right. I like that. Hey, if people were tuned in, we drafted him like 2 rounds ahead of this last year, or last draft. So because we kind of held back, I think we got good value, and we get Evan Ingram on our team anyways. Oh, well, guess what? They did fall again.
Wow.
Nobody did. So,
what I like calculator is that you also looked at the entire board and you noticed that there was a lot of teams that didn't, that didn't need
and they need it, and that's what's crazy.
Now we come in, right?
Yeah. So well, maybe for these people, Evan Ingram was on their board, and the reason they decided not to draft a tight end is because we took their player off the board. So that's another thing, is most likely Evan Ingram wasn't going to come back to us. So that's a thing they got. So now what we hear, we're going to look at our team. We got Anthony. We got look at this, folks. We got our thing. So now we're building bench spots. So this is where we want guys high upside. Good thing. I want to stay in the wide receiver thing. People know I love Xavier Worthy this year. I love that Kansas City offense. Unfortunately, we got Pacheco. So I don't want to double up on that too much. So I'm going to stay away from the Xavier Worthy. If Isaiah Pacheco wasn't on the team, I would probably draft him. But I'm going to go with a high upside guy. We actually drafted him, Mr. Foreman, if you remember last pick. This is one of LT's favorite players. The rookie and the Chargers. Somebody's got to catch passes from all-world quarterback Justin Herbert. Why not get the hot shot rookie? So I'm going to go with Lad McConkey on this one. Build up our wide receiver. And also, he's a rookie. Well, guess what? He's not a starter for us. He's depth piece. We might just want him later in the year. So, I'm going to go with Lad McConkey here.
Hey, he could turn into a lottery pick. He could turn into the next Puka.
There you go. That's right. So, and as you see, Xavier Worthy, man, I was kind of hoping, we could have gotten him, but he didn't fall. Running backs went crazy off the board. But like I said, we're set at running back. We really didn't need depth piece. But, heck, they still got decent running backs available, in my opinion, that we could get later as a backup. So you can go anywhere, Mr. 411, with your pick.
Wow.
We got all
I'll
our
tell
team.
you.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the roster, our roster.
Yeah, because we just picked a receiver for our
Yep.
bench. And hey, we might as well just do it for the running back. I know we're loaded at back, but we do have bye weeks. We have those type of things, and so why not go with Singletary at this point and just have him as he's just there in case we need him.
There you go. And more wide receivers. And yeah, it was a good thing because look at all those running backs that came off the board. So that was a good call, Mr. 41. You got to get the running backs when you think it's going to be a run like that. So hey, here we are. We're back at wide receivers. I because if you look at our team, we got the same amount of wide receivers, but I really feel good about our running back room. I really feel good about that. Just because they're still, if you look, all these guys, they're kind of like, just lottery picks type deal.
Yeah.
We don't need them, because we talked about earlier in our running back preview, we don't even know Breece Hall's backup, so we're not going to worry about his stuff. So I'm going to go back to wide receiver. You can never have too many wide receivers, right? I really like Rashid Shaheed. He's got the starting slot now. He's the main. If you're going to double team Olave, Rashid Shaheed can pick up the slack. Yes, there's an injury by his name, but folks, it's a hamstring. A lot of people get these hamstrings in training camp. They'll sit him down. He'll be ready to go. Big things for Rashid Shaheed this year, in my opinion. And again, we don't have to start him. He's strictly depth. So we're going to bolster our running back room with Rashid Shaheed.
All right.
All right.
You looking good, Calculator.
I like where we're at. So it's on you now, Mr. 411. There's a lot of quarterback. It looks like tier wise, it's quarterback and tight ends. That's why, folks, you can wait on those. And we're set at tight end and quarterback, in my opinion. So the floor is yours, Mr. 411. You go wide receiver. You got a lot of guys with upside. Running backs, we're set on running back. But if you want another lottery pick, more than welcome to have one. It's all you.
Ooh, well, Calculator. Let's look. Scroll down a little bit further for me. Okay. All right. Go back up. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what. Wow, man, I think we're getting all the riches right now. All the riches. But for the sake of this draft, right? Let's do this. Let's go with Algier.
Okay.
And it's kind of going out of the box a little bit with this one, but hey, he could turn into a super lottery pick.
Pick. We talked about lottery picks.
We have nothing to lose.
That's right, because we don't have to start them. We can hold them. Heck, hey, even later in the year, you never know what are the chances that if Bijan gets hurt, you just scratch your lottery ticket, right? So yeah, hey, I have no problems with this pick, Mr. 411. I thought you were going to go with your man Charbonnet for your team, the Seahawks.
Yeah, well, Seahawks. Yeah, I thought about it. But we gonna keep it there with Algier.
Okay. Like I said, I was eyeing Algier too, but I didn't want to influence your decision. Well, if you look at our team, folks, we are stacked. And what do we do with bench players? We just load up the bench because I feel good about kickers and defense with our last two picks, no matter where we go. So that's why I'm going to get another wide receiver because, hey, we talked about him earlier. Moving to the slot, he kind of disappointed last year. New quarterback in town. I just like Jahan Dotson this year. I think he's a great guy to have on your bench, just in case. See what happens if they move him to the slot with the new environment and stuff. So let's go with Jahan Dotson.
Okay, I'm with it. Look, right now we're in the luxury, man. We're in the luxury box right now, man. We just everything here is a bonus.
Yep. All right, now you're up, Mr. 411.
How many slots? How many slots we got left?
We got 3 bench spots left, and then a defense and a kicker.
Okay, so we still have 3 bench spots left.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 tight end, correct? That's what
we got. 1 tight end. Yep.
Okay. Are there any sleeper tight ends that has come across your table?
There is, and the reason I like him though, but I like him later in the draft. So the
Okay.
guy that I
Well,
have
they're
as a
deep
sleeper.
sleepers.
So, but no. If you want, how about you stay away from tight end, and I'll show with, and I'll tell the people who are sleeper who my sleeper tight end is.
Okay, because I have an idea of who it may be,
Okay.
and so I think we're gonna be on the same page there. But let's go ahead and just go with let's see. I'm gonna have to get a closer look here. Hold on, calculator.
There's still some good quarterbacks. If you
Yeah, I
want a backup
see.
quarterback.
I know. I see. That's crazy. All right, and then I just need to. Okay, you're on the quarterback. Click on the.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, you got the quarterback list down there for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent at the
Mhm.
quarterback. We I think we're good at receiver. Um, we're gonna do a tight end move. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you
got the
what.
tight end. I got tight end covered.
Yeah, so let's do this. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Okay, go back to quarterback for me real quick, because this is one thing that I have to get away from doing. I try to go with one quarterback on my draft, and then I'm scrambling for a quarterback later on in the season. But in this case, let's go ahead and get a second quarterback. And I want to go with the guy that has Tyreek Hill at receiver
And Jalen Waddle.
and, and Waddle, right? And I
Yeah.
know, and he's a guy that I love to avoid. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to let what I'm not going to let what I think cloud my judgment there. And
Mhm.
Tua has put up big numbers, and so why not have him there, and why not have be able to kind of lean on Tyreek Hill and those numbers that he's going to put up on any
That's
given
right.
Sunday. So let's go with Tua
Okay.
because we'll need him on a bye week.
And I was about to say, I checked our bye weeks. Anthony Richardson's bye 14, so Tua has a different bye week. So this is actually a good combination. If you think about this, for one, we got an early bye week and a late bye week. So
Hmm.
we kind of spread it out good. I like the pick. It's hard to argue with a guy in one of the fastest paces offense. Mike McDaniel, genius play caller, definitely has the weapons. Got A-Chain that can come out of the backfield for passes as well with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You got a guy with two receivers going in the top 3 rounds in fantasy drafts. Love the pick. And folks, that's our backup, folks. A lot of
Yeah.
people will be happy with the starter. All right. So all these tight ends went off the board. And guess what? My guy is still there. The guy that I wanted Hunter Henry. I wanted Isaiah Likely. I didn't think they'd get there. But the guy I was eyeing that I felt really good about that was going to come back is Tyler Conklin. Because let me tell you, folks, you want to talk about a guy, and let's look at our tight end. Folks, I can't do it.
Oh,
He
don't tell
has
me
the
same bye week
same bye week. Okay, so
unless, and I throw this out there, calculator, because we're so blessed right now. You never know when an injury may come up at the tight end slot, or you want to play match it. You want to match it up here and there
mhm,
if you want to play that as well. I mean, we got room, and we always can drop another one later if we need to.
mhm. Well, let me see
But
what
you
else
do
we want.
you do what you gotta do.
See our receivers because we're looking good here. Mm. I hate because that goes against our philosophy, Mister 411, to draft a second tight end. That's also because you got to get a bye week. But I'll tell you what, I do like. Do you like Noah Fant, Mister 411
I
on
mean,
your
he's
team?
sneaky good. He's sneaky good in Denver, right?
Hmm.
In Denver, he was, and then in Seattle, it's kind of hit or miss in Seattle. To be honest with you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I would stay away from him in Seattle.
okay. Well, Mister 411, I'm going to stay away from tight end for the mere fact is I don't want a backup tight end with the same bye week, and I got another guy that I know we can wait a couple more rounds as well. That I'm feeling pretty good that'll fall to us. But yes, so I'm going to wait another round on that, Mister For One. I'm gonna go with the number 2 guy in Arizona. A lot of people could say that's McBride, but Michael Wilson showed he flashed some talent last year. I do like Darnell Mooney, but folks, remember we got Drake London. So we don't need him. Michael Wilson, there's a tier break after that, in my opinion. So I'm going to build up some more depth and go with Michael Wilson.
Okay, we should be down to what, one bench slot?
Yeah, one bench slot and our defense and our kicker. So, Mr. 4-1, I will let you know my tight end's still on the board. So, if you want to go with a high, see, we still got some good defenses. If you want to
Yeah.
go defense, get one of those top tier defenses. You can do that because my next pick is going to be tight end because my guy's still there. The one guy I like.
Yeah. Well. Ooh. And you
Or you
feel
can get
comfortable
another
that?
lottery pick. You can get another lottery pick with
Or,
Elijah Mitchell.
well, yeah, that's true too. But do you feel comfortable? Do you feel comfortable that that tight end is going to be there
Oh
at this
yeah,
point?
100%.
Okay, let me see the list of the defenses because obviously we're gonna
I
take
got
whatever
it.
kickers out there.
Yeah, up there. Pittsburgh, Kansas City are the top two of the top two scorers from last year that are projected for this year. Buffalo always
Mhm.
has a solid pass rush. The Eagles, that also known as the Georgia Eagles,
Yeah,
that they call the Bears. Oh, Bears are going to be sneaky good this year, folks, on defense. They were top 5 last year, and now they got a
yeah,
good offense with them. So, at Detroit Lions got Hutchinson,
yeah. It's a lot of
causing
them,
havoc.
man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of them. So just for the show, let's just go with Pittsburgh.
Okay. And see, no tight ends are going off the board. That's why I was 100%. See, and this is where, okay, I'm going to take Conklin here, even though it goes against our strategy. It's just, because the guy I was going to get if Conklin was gone, a guy I really been hearing buzz about is Ben Sinnott of Washington. Been hearing good things about him out of camp, late bye week. He's a rookie. He, come in. I like Noah Fant as well. But, I mean, Conklin to still be there. I mean, even though we got the same bye week, I'm just going to pull the trigger on him, Mr. 411. And you don't have to pick a kicker, Mr. 401. Remember, we said that if you're in a draft that don't pick kickers, we can always pick one off the waiver wire.
Yeah, we always could. But just for the show, we don't really talk about it too much. We're not even gonna really talk about it in our special teams episode. But just let the computer pick our kicker.
So, well, hey, let's see. We have who's our running back? Yeah, hey, let's go with. Well, I know we could say that, but let's go with Koo. He's indoors. We got Drake
Hmm.
London. We got a correlation. So anytime we score a touchdown with Drake London, we're getting an extra point with it with a kicker. If he doesn't score a touchdown and they're in field goal range, we're getting a kicker, or we're getting a 3 points. So yeah, let's do with the correlated kicker play.
Okay.
Young Hung Koo.
I'm cool with that.
There you go. So another B plus, folks. And I think this is a better draft than last year, just because we waited on tight end, still got Evan Ingram, who's I think the one thing we're probably getting docked for is the Conklin pick because he has the same bye week as our tight end. But I think that was just too far of a drop for Conklin, because a lot of people that are going, the later great strategy, a lot of people are having Conklin as their starter because they're projecting big things for him with a healthy Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Calculator, somebody may come after us for a trade.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And we got some firepower, Mr. Form. But yeah, look at that starting. Brees Hall, Isaiah out of the backfield. Anthony Richardson running in touchdowns. You got Drake London and Cooper Kupp gobbling up targets and touchdowns. Evan Ingram. Hey, what's changed from last year? Calvin Ridley leaving town, so that's a good thing for Evan Ingram, right? And then T. Higgins as a guy in a flex play that's in a high-powered offense, number 2 receiver. So yeah, and then you have young guys. We have young McConkey as a guy. We have Devin Singletary. He's a starting running back in New York, folks. Rashid Shaheed, and then we got the lottery pick, Algier. So yeah. And then, hey, if Richardson does get hurt running one and in, we'll just throw 2 in there for a few games till Richardson can come back.
Absolutely, I love it, Calculator. A B plus, man. That's good, man.
Yep, and we're getting better and better. Like I said, we learned from last year to wait on tight end in this format.
Absolutely. All right. We definitely thank Calculator for being on. Appreciate it, man. What another great week. Fantasy football, man. It came around real quick.
It
Seems like we
sneaks up
just
on you
finished the last
every time.
episode.
Like I said, our next episode is for one. I'll be in my first slow draft, so I might have another screen that I'm checking to see when I'm going to be on the clock.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome,
Yep.
calculator. All right, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Mr. 411 right there, QR code as well. Also follow us on Instagram, Mr. 411. Please do those two things. Also, do a third thing. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and share. Because what, calculator?
Sharing is caring, my friend.
Absolutely. All right, so make sure you do that on YouTube, which is 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. All right, we
Yes, sir.
thank Ernest Butts for supporting the show. We thank Heavy Spot Mobile. We thank Ash
Always.
and Smoke Cigars, PT with Grit, all the people, JD Lamps, what I'm saying? We
Oh
definitely
yeah.
appreciate
Great
everybody
friend of
who
the show.
contributes.
Great friend of the show. So
Absolutely. All right, well, calculator and Mr. 411, we are gone. So everybody have a great one.
see ya.